We got a final from the Big D where the Dallas Mavericks have bettered the Phoenix Suns 111-101 as they controlled this one the entirety of the second half. Luka Doncic with 26 points, 7 rebounds, and 11 assists as he fills it up. Dorian Finney-Smith was his closest running mate there with 24. But on the Suns side, a name you do not see on that box score is one Chris Paul, who had more fouls than he did points in this basketball game. And just like that, we're tied it to a side. Let's break it down with the best in the business. Good time, Timmy Doyle here to talk a little hoop. TD, when you take a look at this series, we'll go big picture in a second, but game 4, we're now tied at 2. What really jumped off the page at you here? Obviously, Chris Paul, less than spectacular here.
Well, Chris Paul changed the face of the Suns organization. I mean, this was a team that was not a playoff team. He has gone there. He's gotten to an NBA championship this year, the best record in the NBA. So not having him on the floor, yeah, that affects you in a negative way, no doubt about it. This was a 6-point game in the fourth quarter, and you could hear Richard Jefferson on the call being like, Suns still have a chance until Luka makes a floater and then back-to-back threes by Finney-Smith, and then this game was over. But I think the bigger story for the Mavericks is Jay Kidd said, Luka needs some help. Luka can't do it by himself. And you know what he got in Dallas? He got help. Dorian Finney-Smith made 13 field goals over the last 2 games. 12 of them were threes. Today, he made 8 threes. So I had Luka Doncic having a triple-double. Oh, he had those 11 assists. But how do you get 11 assists? You get help from your running mates. J. Kidd called for it. He received it. And now, Joe Musso, we got a series.
Yeah, we do. It's interesting that you frame it that way, TD, because when you look at the numbers, the Mavs in this series, 2-0 when Luka is sub 30 points, 0-2 when he goes for 30+. That could be sort of a chicken and the egg situation of does he have to fill it up tonight because he doesn't have any help? But do you think he's better when he is distributing and getting those other players into the fold?
Absolutely, because it just takes so much more pressure off him. You know what I mean? I think that he feels like on the road, maybe he lacks trust. Maybe his role players don't play with that same swag and confidence that they play with at home. But that was the difference. And I've said this before. Did you watch the game today? The energy inside the arena there in Dallas is better than any other court. I was in Memphis. I thought the energy was really good down there for game 1. But Dallas, like, these guys are feeding off of that energy. So I know we're going to talk about the help. I know Luka Doncic gets a lot of love, and rightfully so, coming into this game. He was averaging 35 points, 10 rebounds, and 8 assists. But the defense, Joe, you hold the Suns to 94 and then essentially under 100 again. I know the Suns went for 101, but they had 99 with 2 seconds left. So back-to-back games, the defense steps up, holds the Suns basically under 100 points. Defense was spectacular, and they've taken great care of the basketball in this series. I had Suns in 7. I just can't foresee anyone winning on the road. That's the problem.
I do want to go back to Chris Paul here for a moment because he's given us these virtuoso-type performances this postseason and then really come up with a couple of stinkers. Game 4 in the first round. This one, as I said, more fouls than points as he fouls out with 8 and change. Can you describe the variance in his game right now? Where's that coming from?
Yeah, it can't happen. I mean, he put on one of the greatest performances in playoff history when he went 14 for 14 on the road in New Orleans. And I needed the Pelicans there to top off a 5-team parlay. So I'm still a little bitter about that performance, but he was spectacular in that game. I think what you see here is just a guy who's, approaching 40 years old. Like, it ain't always pretty when I get out of bed in the morning because I'm 39 years old. Like, you're like, oh, like, it's amazing what he's doing at this age. Isaiah Thomas was already 4 years retired at this point. That Chris Paul is still out there leading the NBA in assists, going out there putting out one of the best teams in the NBA on his back alongside of Devin Booker. But he has to be selfish for his own team. And what I mean by that is you can't foul out. Like, you just, like, and his last one was cheap, and he knew it right away. When a guy fouls is when they go like this. Like, he hit the guy, he pulled him, and then he went like this. I didn't do it. Like, if you have kids one day, Musso, and they go like this, just go, you did it.
Standing next to the house with a can of gasoline while it burns. That's all that is right there, Tim Doyle. Let's go big picture here for a moment, because when you take a look at this Suns team, it's sort of mirrored round 1. Now, it hasn't been the same win-loss that it was against the Pelicans, but here we are 2-2, TD. They're having trouble distancing themselves from what we could consider is a lesser basketball team. Does that make you question their mettle as a championship contender at all right now?
I don't have them winning the title. I know they've been the favorite. betting favorite for a long time now. I had Memphis winning the title, but they don't look too great right now. Obviously, John Morant's banged up and they're down 2-1 in the series after losing by 100 to the Warriors. But this is the biggest game they're going to play, because I'll tell you this right now. If they lose Game 5, they ain't winning Game 6. Like, you could just tell the way this series is going. Dallas has all the momentum. Like, you must win spot. I can't envision Phoenix going to Dallas. Joe, the games in Dallas really haven't been competitive. And if you take away Game 1 against Utah when Doncic didn't play, the Mavericks have been outstanding at home. Jalen Brunson, Dorian Finney-Smith. How about Davis Bertans? 4 years ago, he averaged 15 points a game. Comes off the bench today, barely plays, bangs down 4 threes. Like, the Mavs aren't losing at home. That is a fact. I think Game 5 is going to be a really hard game to handicap, because they're going to make the Suns like 6.5, and it's going to be really hard to bet the Mavs. So that's going to be a really hard game to handicap. So I think it's the biggest game of the year. Suns at home, Game 5.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis. No yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.